Good morning and welcome to Leadership Tuesday with Coach Ellis. Hey, this is the day I spend just a few minutes talking to leaders, whether you are a leader of a multinational corporation or a small church, or just your family or a huge nonprofit. It doesn't matter because the leadership principles are pretty much the same. And this is for emerging, existing, and exiting leaders. Hey, look, I want to talk to you about this idea of leadership tips for bouncing back. All of us have had personal failures. Whether we're leaders, followers, all of us have had personal failures. And oftentimes when we've had personal failures or professional failures, we find it easy for us to recover ourselves, but we don't always know how to help others recover from those same things. So I was involved in a gathering, and I was listening to some of the instructors, some of the presenters, talk about how to help people succeed after they've had a great failure. And as leaders, I thought this was a great way to talk about what we do as leaders. So one of the things that we have to do is that when there has been an issue, whether it's a personal or professional failure, whether somebody is constantly late on deadlines, whether or not they showed up at work inebriated, whether or not there was an anger issue at work, whatever the case is, one of the things, Lady D, we have to do is set the environment for their success. Now, how do you do that, Coach? Well, I'm glad you asked me. One of the things that I learned in this session is that the first 30 days after the event has been adjudicated, whether that means folks when they got help, whether there's been some type of human resources result from it, whether it's a letter of reprimand, whether or not it's a write-up in your file, whether or not it's simply sitting down and talking with your boss and being coached or mentored, whatever that event is that brought this behavior to an end, the next 30 days are the most critical part of ensuring their success. Do you realize that no matter what your issue is, if you can get past the next 30 days and live within the principles that help you avoid having those same issues again, then you are only 80%, before your 30 days, you are almost assured to continue that behavior. After 30 days, that drops by 20%. You're only 80% likely to continue that behavior. But after 90 days, that thing drops to 50%. You're only 50% likely to repeat that bad behavior. And if you keep on that path and you go a whole year, the recidivism rate after a whole year is less than 20%. So what that tells me as a leader is that while I can't make people do things, I can't make the decisions for you, I can set the environment at work, in the workplace, or in the place where I am with you, where I'm leading you, for your 30, 60, 90-day, 1-year success marks. And here's what that means. If one of the proximate causes of their issue was the stress of the job, then, and we know they're capable, we've seen them do it, and they were performing wonderfully, but that stress got to them. In the first 30 days, what we have a tendency of doing is saying, now this is over, get back in the fight. Jump right back into the middle of things. Go right back and get engaged at the same level. And what that does, that sets them up for failure, because just because the behavior has changed doesn't mean the attitudes have changed. So what we have to do in underwriting honest mistakes, and we find that they're valuable employees or valuable members of the team, then we have to put them back into the fight, but we have to modulate that fight for them. So the first 30 days, maybe they don't go back to 100 and, they don't go back to 70-hour work weeks. They don't go back to 60-hour work weeks. Maybe you cut them down to a regular 40-hour work week and help them develop new skills and strategies. Maybe the person who irritates them is on the team. Maybe you back them off for having to have such personal contact with them until they can develop new coping skills. It doesn't do us any good to help our folks get help and then put them into the same environment that created the need for them to get help in the first place. And this is hard for leaders because we're all about results. Suck it up, Cupcake. Get it done. We're all about results. But if we truly care about our teammates, our team members, it is not just the results of their work. It is the results of their life that we're concerned about. So maybe we sacrifice some productivity in the short run so that we can give them the skills necessary for them to be great in the long run. Now, this should be normal leadership thinking, but I promise you it's not. And what I submit to you is that if we value our teammates, we will set them up for success. So if we help them in the first 30 days, give them some skills, and then gradually add on more responsibility so we don't have recidivism in the first 90 days, the chance of them repeating that behavior falls to 50%. Now, to me, those are not great odds, but they're better than the 80% after 30 days or the 90% within that first 30 days. Much better than that. And if we keep reinforcing the behavior that we want to see, we model that behavior, we model those things. We engage in self-care so our teammates understand that sometimes I take a timeout just for me to do nothing but sit. You need to do the same. Yeah, we get productive, but we will never sacrifice the individual for productivity. And at some juncture, I have to invest into you enough that makes you want to invest back into our venture. This is hard to do. But I promise you, team, I promise you, friends, I promise you that if we invest into our people this way, they will repay it back 10, 20, and 30 fold. Let's not set them up for failure. The leadership tip for bounce back is make sure that as people are coming back, we help create the environment for their success, not recreate the environment that caused them to fail. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is Coach Ellis saying, if you want to reach me, got comments, put your comments down below. Hit me up at coach@elliscrum.net or catch me on Facebook at Coach Ellis. Until next Tuesday, have a one-tablish leadership tip, bouncing back Tuesday. God bless you. We'll see you next week.